welcome back to the Bonsai Socials podcast. I am so insanely excited about this episode because it is the first guest of the podcast. We are now being joined by guests. How exciting. Our guest today is the wonderful Lily from 37 Socials. She is an absolute powerhouse and she's absolutely smashing it. So I cannot wait to dive into this episode with her. She will introduce herself in a little bit, but she is the queen of content and confidence. So I can't wait for you to learn more about that, more from Lily, her story, and just her like top tips and everything to do with confidence and content. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Lily. Tell us a little bit about you and your story.
Amazing. So to begin with, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. My name's Lily. I've been working in the marketing industry for around nearly like 5 years now. So marketing itself has been something that I've been doing for a while, but when it comes to like confidence and content, that's something that I've really like hammered down on in the past 2 years, because I noticed there's such a gap in this niche. Like there's so many amazing social media managers, but even a lot of them don't know how to sit in front of the camera and speak. And the way that I noticed that when I shift and went from really confident, went from not feeling confident to really confident in front of the camera, the way I was getting more inquiries, more sales and everything, it was literally like magnetic. So that's something that I love to teach service providers and business owners now. And yeah, I mean, I really came from like anxiety, refusing to get out of bed, to now showing up every single day. And that's just what I love to teach other women.
Yeah, that is so insane. Like, how's that journey been from like if you feel comfortable talking about it from like an anxiety point of view, like how's that journey been, like finding your confidence, I guess more generally, and then content as well?
Do you know what, like I feel like it all just kind of blurred into one for me at some point. When I was in school, like it got to the point where like my mum would have to call up the school and be like, she's not coming in today, like she literally cannot move. So when I say I used to have like anxiety and panic attacks, like I don't say it lightly at all. Like it used to be horrific, like in the least dramatic way. Like I actually thought I was going to die at some points because of the way my panic attacks were. So it is kind of crazy to go from like that to now just being like, I actually don't care. It's definitely been a big one, and it's still something that I'm still learning every single day, like how to deal with things. I'm not gonna sit here and ever say like, oh, I never have bad days or I never have panic attacks anymore. I don't remember the last time I did have one. So from going from every single day to not having one in months and don't remembering it is amazing. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey and a lot, but it's also helped me realise so many things that I was missing in personal life, and also so many things that are missing in the industry. So although it wasn't very nice, I'm very grateful for the experience of it.
Yeah, and so like what was your journey starting your business? I know you said you've been in marketing, but like what's been your business journey?
So I actually started my first business when I was 16.
That is so good.
Yeah, I was 16 and it was an e-commerce makeup brand. So I sold makeup. At the beginning, I made everything as well, and I absolutely loved that. That was in August of 2020. So that was kind of when we were coming out of lockdown, but then they put us back in. So it was a very weird, strange time. And when you're someone who does have anxiety, who isolates himself anyway, to then have to be isolated was like, oh, so I really needed something to like distract me and keep me going and everything, because I was one of those really weird school year as well, which didn't get to do their GCSEs. I didn't really know what I was going to be doing in college or anything like that. So I really needed a distraction, basically. And it just happened that I've always been a huge makeup lover. Like, there's really embarrassing videos of me from when I'm like 11 recording my makeup routine and stuff like that.
No, they're not embarrassing. You embraced it.
Oh, honestly, they're horrific. Like, I just look at the eyebrows. I'm like, no.
I think we all had a bad eyebrow stage. I had a bad eyebrow stage as well.
But yeah, so I started that business, and then I kind of realised, like, you need social media, especially the time that we were in COVID. Like, you need socials to grow your business and to really, like, if you want to be seen, you've got to put yourself out there. And there's so many videos of me, and it's so funny because my mum and stepdad literally go to me like, I cannot recognize you in these videos because of how different, like, not even like, obviously I was bright blonde then, but also more just for the fact like my energy is so different. I'm so shy. I don't even like, I literally feel like I'm whispering, to then now being like how I am. Like, they always say to me, I actually cannot recognize you in these videos. So yeah, it was definitely like a stepping stone kind of thing. And then firstly, I fell in love with marketing. I hated the college course I was doing at that time. So my mum, I'm very lucky that I've got like the most supportive mum ever. Like, she's kind of like, do what's best for you in your journey. And she was like, if you want to drop out of college, do it, but you've got to have something, like, you've got to basically figure out something else to do, especially in the UK. Like, you've got to be in education till you're 18 now. So I had to figure it out. Luckily, I was earning around $4,000 a month through that business. So at 16, that's a stupid amount of money.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And I had the business for just shy of 4 years. It just happened that I ended up falling out of love with it. But it made me realise that I want to do marketing. So I did my digital marketing apprenticeship, realised I love all areas of marketing, but socials is where I thrive. And it's more because, like, I really realised, I actually went from this to being really confident. I really changed the way that I am. So yeah, and then I actually stayed in corporate for like a couple of months after my apprenticeship, and then I got made redundant, which is a shame because I actually really, really loved that job. It was working for a charity, and I've always said, like, if I ever get any charity clients again, I'd love it. But it just happened that I got made redundant 2 days before Christmas.
No.
And then me and my partner at the time, he was like, look, let's just do this. So at first the business was very 50-50 when we registered it and everything like that, and then it just happened. It was kind of like, I am very, very grateful for him because he kind of gave me that push that I needed to, like, start the business. I had the qualification, I had the knowledge, I had the business knowledge, but I think because it was a service, I was so scared because I was essentially like selling myself instead of selling a product like I was before. So I got that back in from him when it comes to finances and business, did a course, and then nearly 2 years later, here we are. So I've actually only had 37 socials for a year and a half, which seems crazy. I don't remember life without it.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, yeah, it just goes so fast, and like you just can't imagine your life without your business.
No,
like, it
literally.
becomes your whole world, doesn't it? Like, it's just like your baby.
It is, and I love it so much. And I always say this to everyone, like, my friends and stuff are like, are you not bored of work? And I'm like, no, because I genuinely love what I do so much. I could sit all day and work on it and not get bored, which is a blessed position to be in. So
100%. Literally, I have the same conversation with my friends because they're like it comes to a loving place. I love them all.
Yeah.
And they're all like, Beth, look after yourself. But I'm like, I just love working.
Yeah, that's like me.
I'm working on it. Like, I'm all good. Don't worry. Yeah. But blasphemy comes from like such a place of like just wanting to care about you. But
yeah,
it's just
definitely.
Like, your business becomes your baby. I was saying that to someone the other day. I was like, I don't need a child right now because I've got my baby. And that's my business. So I'm already a mother in some sense.
100%. I feel the exact same.
No, honestly, your story is incredible. Like, starting a business at 16, girl, you're absolutely smashing it. Absolutely smashing it. And I love that. I love your story of like that transformation in your confidence.
Yeah.
Like, that is so amazing because I like, not to kind of the same extent as you, like I'm quite shy and introverted, like, despite what it might look like. So I have gone on my own journey with confidence, and it's such a journey, isn't it? And I remember the first time that I had to like get my phone out to film for the business, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, it smells pretty weird. Like, I remember I literally what was it? I posted on Instagram, I think. I blocked like all my family and friends to see this video.
This
So
is
I was
what I
like,
say to people though
no.
all the time. I'm like, if you don't want people to see it, just block them.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many people blocked. Just block them.
I was just like, I can't do it. So I remember like sitting there going through and blocking everyone. And like, I think it was last year, I was on holiday, right, with my boyfriend and his
Yeah.
family. So I'd blocked everybody. I was like, no, it's fine. No one's seeing us. Anyway, my boyfriend's brother had found my business Instagram,
Oh
and
no.
he's like showing me my account. And I just felt like the whole like ground wanted to swallow me
Yeah.
up. I was like, strangers, I don't care. But I was like, the fact that my boyfriend's brother has literally got
Yeah.
my account on his phone, I was like, oh my God, no. It was so weird. But like, as we're on the topic of kind of like confidence on camera, what do you feel like, what are your tips that have like helped you go from that, go on your journey and kind
Yeah.
of get more confident with showing up? Because you show up and like, honestly, I obviously follow your socials and you show up so confidently, like you
Thanks.
absolutely kill it in the way you show up on camera.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the problem is, and this is something that I teach like my clients and everything, but a lot of the problem is that people don't like looking at themselves. It's actually not the fact that you're recording, it's the fact that you've got to sit and like say how like we are right now, you've actually got to sit and view yourself, and that makes people feel really uncomfortable because a lot of people don't like themselves, as sad as it sounds. And I was the exact same. I hated looking in the mirror. I hated like the way I looked. I could pick up about myself, I would, and it really, really damaged the way that my confidence was and the way that I showed up on camera. So I literally just forced myself. I literally would just put a camera, or I'd just sit in front of the mirror and record, because it got to the point where I was thinking, if I don't do this, like, this business isn't going to grow the way I want it to. And it wouldn't have, because people always say, like, used to say to me, like, I actually come and sit on these lives and I come and like buy from your business because I love you and I love the way you show up. And I'm like, I think when people started saying that, I was like, oh, like, this is actually good. Like, I'm doing something right here. So yeah, it was like a journey and stuff, but I'd say you need to be more confident looking at yourself. I always say to clients, like, just set up and speak to yourself in the mirror. I stumble on my words. You can hear that I stumble on my words all the time. Write scripts, that helps. But I always think, if the recording goes wrong, just do it again. Like, just delete it, do it again. I always say, my videos that you might see on Instagram that are like 30, 40 seconds are about 5 minutes of footage in my camera roll. Because it's me either repeating words, not liking the tone I'm speaking in, like I've got a hair out of place or something like that. So yes, I'm very confident and I could do stuff like this. I can speak on masterclasses, I can do everything, but there is still some times when I'm like, oh my God, why can I not like say this word properly, or why does that sound really funny? And especially because I've got such a mixed accent as well. Like, I'm like sometimes really Midlands, sometimes like up north, like depending on what family member I've been with.
Yeah.
I really pick up on that. So my biggest advice is to not care and to get comfortable looking and speaking to yourself. Like, whether that's through mirror work, whether that's through journaling, whatever you've got to do, just do it.
Yeah. No, that's such a good point. Like, I'd never thought of it like that. But yeah, I mean, now that I think about it, when I get nervous about showing up on camera,
Yeah.
is because I'm not in that day or that week or whatever. I am not, I don't look at myself and think,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you don't have to think that like you're the best, but I don't look at myself and think positively. I'm
Exactly.
like, yeah, you pick things apart, isn't it? And like, yeah, you're so right. That is when you're not, when you struggle with it. Like,
Yeah.
now I look back, I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That's why the times I struggle.
But even like, I'll just sit there, and if I'm feeling like really rubbish about myself that day, I'll force myself to look at myself and be like, okay, even if it's like, oh, I really like the way I've lined my lips today. I really like the fact that my bow is stayed in my hair straight. Like, just little things. Like, even if it's all like, I love how nice I am, or I love how like my energy. Like, even if it's not about like looks, if I say things about my personality and like the energy that I hold, because I'm a very, very spiritual person. So like, if I like feel into that more, that also helps me feel more confident. Like, even if I don't feel confident from the way that I look, I'll be confident from the way that I feel.
Yeah. No, that is such a yeah, that's such I'm gonna go get post-its now and start
Yeah, do
it
it,
in the morning.
honestly. I've got post-its in my car, like saying like it's like things like be present, because like I'm someone who suffers with road rage, so I have like little things like it's
Great.
going to be okay, it's only 5 minutes of the day and stuff like that. Like honestly, I have notes, reminders on my phone. I have like a reminder every couple hours just saying like everything's going to be okay, like kind of thing. Like,
Oh,
and you
I
can do
love
that with your confidence. Like if
that.
there's certain things you don't like about yourself, like for example, you don't like your hair, like write a positive thing about your hair every single day. Like if you've got
Yeah.
curly hair, like I love my curls. If you've got frizzy hair, I love frizzy hair. Like, because at the end of the day, it's you, and it's not going to go away unless you do some massive like heat damage on it. It's not going to go away, so you
Yeah.
might as well start loving it.
No, oh my God. No, that's such a good tip, and I think it's something that like is so easy to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you forget to do it. Like
Oh,
you
100%.
so caught up in like, what you've got to do and other things that like you forget to like I guess it's a way of looking after yourself,
Yeah,
isn't it? It's
100%.
always a way of looking after yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And this is the thing, like, and I always say, like, if you don't prioritize yourself, this is why I feel like within our industry, like CEO days are such a big thing now. Because if you
Yeah.
don't look after yourself, I always say, if you're like not feeling the best, then you're not going to provide the best service. And if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to. So you really do
So
have to, whether it's like, for me, I've made sure I do at least 3 face masks a week. Like, and my skin has been loving it.
I love
And so
that.
why? Because I just sit there and I lie back and I'm like, yeah, watching Desperate Housewives, loving life. Like,
Yeah.
and
No.
little things like that really help.
No, I love that. No, they are such great tips because yeah, it's sometimes it can be so intimidating filming content, can't it? Like
Yeah.
what you're facing. And I guess like what like have you seen on social media in terms of people like confidence camera with content? Like what are the mistakes that you see people making the most?
People, so this, I suppose I could say this. Do you know when like people, like it's called, I think on TikTok is like the millennial pause, when they're like filming
Yes.
content. So like they'll
Yeah.
do it and then you can see that they've kind of stuttered and they've got a bit scared, but instead of re-recording it, they've paused it and then like reset it. My biggest piece of advice is if you say something wrong, just carry on. You can edit that out later.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you like show you're shy and you're making the mistakes, and people are gonna be like, oh, can't really bother to watch this, like kind of thing. So also at the same time, keep all those bloopers. I post bloopers like every couple months because my camera roll are full of them.
So
Whether it's me saying things wrong, whether it's me just not like some, because I'm dyslexic. Sometimes my dyslexia will come out verbally, and like I'll
yeah.
say like a sentence like in the complete wrong way round.
Yeah.
And that's always really funny to post. But people also really love seeing that side of people. Like nobody's perfect. If you get something wrong, then that's fine. But I feel like people also just make the mistake of it's hard because I like don't want to be harsh because I get where people are coming from, but if you are going to sit and film content, you really need to know what you're going to say, because if you're sat and you have no idea and you don't sound confident within your offer, people are going to be like, well, she doesn't know what she's talking about, kind of thing. Then people are going to be like, oh my god, no, I showed up on camera and it didn't do anything, la la la, like kind of thing. And it's a vicious cycle. So literally imagine like you're speaking to one of your clients. That's what I do when I'm speaking, like the passion and everything that I have through, like I make sure that I speak in the exact same tone that I would, because if I come on like, oh yeah, well I think my confidence package is gonna help, kind of thing, like it's gonna do nothing for you. You've really got to like know and put your message in right.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And that's such a good tip about speaking like you're talking to a client, because
Yeah.
you would never, when you've got a client, you don't ever want to come across that you don't know what
No.
you're doing, do you? Because your client has paid you for whatever you're
Yeah.
providing them. Like they trust you, they've paid for your service, so you never want to come across like you don't know what you're doing.
No.
Like that, you just wouldn't do that. So that again, look at you with all the tips. No, I love that tip. That is so good. And I guess what challenges, going back to your own story a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, have you faced when, because I don't know, I mean, to me, I feel like the whole confidence piece kind of does come into authenticity as
Yeah.
well. Because I think, like, being authentic, it takes confidence. I don't know if
It
that's a
does.
hot take, but I do think it does, because it, like, I think it's a lot easier, isn't it, to like put a mask up and show up as, you know, someone that you think people are going to want you to be.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to show up as yourself, and you have to have that confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
So what challenges, or again, what mistakes do you see people like within that piece of like kind of having the confidence
Yeah.
to as authentically you? Because yeah, it does, like, there's a lot of people that just say, oh, you know, just be you, just show up authentically, but I always think they miss that huge piece of the puzzle, that it takes
Yeah,
confidence.
it does. And it takes so much time. And I feel like even up until this time last year, I was still kind of putting on a front. Like, I wouldn't swear in my content. I'd be very like, I'd kind of like dim my voice down a little bit and not like be, because I'm one of them people that does kind of take up a room, if that makes sense. Like, when I get speaking, I can speak for so long, which some people love, some people hate. If you don't like it, that's fine. I don't want to be like around you, kind of vibe. But I think it's hard, because I do really get it, and I really get how difficult it is to show it. But my biggest piece of advice is, again, just speak like you're speaking to a friend. That's kind of how I do it. And it's really weird, because I say this, but I would never ever film any kind of content in front of any of my friends. But you have just got to imagine, like, if you are filming content, to, like, if people don't like your stuff, then they're not the clients you want anyway. If someone has something to say, like, I've had so many negative comments, especially on TikTok. TikTok's a very harsh place. I love it, but people forget that you can actually see who they are on their accounts.
It's savage.
It is.
Savage.
But people are always going to have something to say. If you're making multi-million pounds, people are going to say you've done it in the wrong way. If you're making no money, people are going to say you're not trying hard enough. Like, if you're like skinny, people are going to have something to say. If you're bigger, people are going to have something to say. Like, at the end of the day, that's in real life as well. That's in corporate life. That's in everything that you can do. So, as hard as it as like cliche and everything it is to say, just stop caring. Stop worrying about other people. Just start showing up. Do something because you want to do it. Just every single time I post something now, I'm thinking, this is benefiting my life. This is benefiting my business. This is going to help me grow. Yeah. And if someone does comment, then I'm kind of like, well, like, what do you want me to do about that? Kind of stuff. Like, and don't be wrong, there is still parts of me that like does care. If someone like comments, like, say something about, like, I don't know, a content day I've done, and they said that the photos look bad, I'd be like, well, hold on a second, I've spent loads of time on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, but if my client's happy, why does it matter? And that's my like main thing, is make sure my clients are happy, making sure I'm happy, making sure I'm showing up correctly. And there is still some days where I will put on a filter and I will like be a bit like on camera, but it's still the commitment that I've got to myself and my business to show up every single day, even on those days, and showcase those days when I am feeling a little bit iffy. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a 21-year-old girl. Like, I'm literally just a girl who has problems like every other person does in this life. Although we see all these really beautiful people, like, literally, like I say, nobody is perfect. So if you're having a problem, and whenever I share these problems, people are like, thank you so much, like, I really needed this, like, kind of thing. And I feel like that's why I've got such a strong community, because I do show up so authentically, even when I'm having a really bad day. Like, I will show up and be myself, and no one judges me for that. And it's all about building the right community around that as well, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that last point about building the right community, yeah, it's so key, isn't it? Like you said, you want to build a community of people that, you weed it out, don't you, by being the people that like don't like, you know, they would never connect with you. But I guess, like, just riffing off that point, what, like, maybe bringing it more like specifically back to content, what would you advise someone to do with their content if they haven't got that community of people around them? Like, what what would your advice be around content to build the right community around them, their brand,
Yeah.
their business?
I never had that community to start off with. No one does to begin with. Like, I mean, my niche when I first started was restaurants, which if anyone looks at me now is going to be like, what the hell? Like, that is not you at all. So I get it. And the one thing I'll say is the more you show up and the more you be yourself, is the more people are going to want to watch you and the more you're going to build that community. Because the worst thing that I found, like, do you know when you like follow your favorite content creator and they're like so nice and bubbly, and then like a couple months later, like they're a completely different person? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
hello, like come back. You were my comfort person. And
Yeah.
it's the same within business. Like if you're showing up one way and then a couple months later, like if you're really, really positive, la 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 la, and then negative all the time, people are going to be like, hold on, I followed her because of this. So it's making sure that you're consistent within like your messaging and your authenticity of showing up, but also making sure that you are really nurturing the audience and like the community you do have, whether that's one person or 100 people. Reply to comments, reply to when people are like answering your stories, if people are putting things in your question boxes, if people are like commenting anything, like speak to people. Like I've had people who have like left me hate comments before on TikTok, and then once I've actually spoke to them, they've then moved over to my Instagram and are now one of the people who are always like commenting and stuff on my stuff, because they've realised, oh okay, actually she is a decent person, like it just she's a bit harsh for her content kind of thing. So it's just really, you really do have to nurture these people. Like you've got to think, every single person who comes onto your page is a potential client. If you're ignoring that, if I was going to like a lash tech or something and they didn't answer my message for a week, I'd be going to someone else.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to kind of think about. If you're not nurturing your audience and your community, and especially the ones who engage with your content, then you're never going to convert like people.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, yeah, like you said, it is about showing up, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about showing up for the people that are engaging with you. And at the end of the day, from a business standpoint, like the people that could become your clients,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
become your customers. But one thing I really wanted to ask you is like how, because again, you know, this all falls within the confidence piece. Like, how do you handle, what are your tips for like being vulnerable? Because again, authenticity, you know, there's confidence. You have to be confident to be vulnerable, I think.
Definitely.
Like, and you know, obviously, this is a whole other thing in terms of sharing personal stories. That's a whole other rabbit hole that we can go down. But you know, for the people that do they feel comfortable, they want to show that side of them. You know, as a founder, as a business owner, yeah, what tips, like what's helped you have be vulnerable online? Like, how have you overcome that? Because I feel like a lot of us have that. You know, you have that kind of fear, don't you, when it comes to being vulnerable? Because I feel like as humans, we don't like it.
No,
But
exactly.
yeah, like what's your experience with it?
So when being vulnerable, you need to like really make sure that you have boundaries with that vulnerability. So for example, I know there's a lot of like mums that I work with, and they're like, there's certain parts of my kid's life I don't want to share. I'm like, don't share it then. That's your child, that's their life. You don't have to share that. Like, it's like, the thing is, like, I'm very open and honest with everything that I do, and like through my anxiety and through like personal things I've went through, but there's also so much in my life that if I told people, they would literally be gobsmacked, that I never will come on the internet and speak about, because it's got nothing to do with my business. Where me speaking about my anxiety and my journey and the confidence and everything I've had does, because that's where a lot of people are sitting right now. They have this anxiety, they're having panic attacks, like they're really suffering to get in front of the camera, and that's why I speak about that so much and I'm so vulnerable about that. But me speaking about a family situation that happened when I was 13 has literally nothing to do with my business, like kind of vibe. So it's having that difference. Like for example, like going back to, I don't know why I attract quite a lot of mums to my page, like it's quite funny. But if you're like a mum and you're having like your baby's having a really bad day, like they're having like a full like tantrum, you don't have to share that. You can share that a couple of weeks later, maybe, to be like, I don't know, like if you're a VA, how much of like your baby's having this, like how you can help out. But at the same time, like you don't always have to share every single bad thing. Have your limits in what you want to share. But also, if you're not ready to share something, that's okay. And also a lot of work through therapy. I have to give my therapist like a really like big like what I suppose like shout out for like the way that she has actually helped me, because it has taken me a like very long while to get to the point of even speaking about anything. I kind of think I just pushed and forgot like anything that ever happened with my anxiety for so long, because I was so worried about thinking about that again. But yeah, if anyone wants to help like with being vulnerable, go to therapy, because it's great.
Yeah. No, and I think that's, it's such a good point, isn't it? Because I was talking to someone else about this the other day, and I feel like with the rise of personal branding, and, you know, obviously my business started because of my personal brand, there is this pressure on people to share every single part of their life. And I think the word personal brand has been completely misconstrued to the fact that you have to share your whole life, but you don't. Like, I always say that there are certain things that I won't share. Like, I'll talk about my boyfriend, but I would probably never put his face on my business stuff. I would never, you know, like even in my vlogs when he's with me, I don't show him, because you know that's just a boundary for me that I want to keep my relationship separate from my business, as much as he supports me. But like you said, it's an example, isn't it, that actually the word personal brand is wildly misunderstood at the moment. You don't have to share every part of your life to have a strong personal brand. You don't have to share every part of your life, and you can still be vulnerable. You can still be vulnerable with people and open, and you can still let people feel like they know you.
Exactly.
You can have your limits. Like, that is perfectly okay to have your limits, isn't it?
No, exactly. And it's not like you're lying. You're still being yourself. You're just having the boundaries with that audience, because something that I really suffered with when I first started as well was not having that boundary between like clients and friends. And a lot of my clients did become my friends, and then they expect a lot of stuff. So yes, I am very, very friendly with all of my clients now, but they all know the boundary like for certain things and everything like that. So it is having boundaries with yourself. And that thing is, if you feel like you're not ready to share certain things, you don't have to. Like, if something goes wrong in your business and you're building a personal brand, you do not have to share that. Like, it's like there's been things that have gone wrong in my business that I just haven't wanted to share. But there's also been parts where, say, I didn't get any sales on a launch, and I have wanted to share that because of what I've learned from it. So it's really having like the boundaries and everything that I did not have when I first started at all. And then I kind of realised as I was like I feel like as you get older, like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously I'm still like young, but like as I get older, I kind of realise that I do have to have boundaries. Not only like you've got to have boundaries in every section of your life, but especially within business, because at the end of the day, these people are that I'm working for. These people essentially, like I can't tell them my whole life story, because no one needs that.
I think there's just parts, and like something that I've tried to do recently is like literally like pick out the things in my life that I feel comfortable being vulnerable about. Literally writing it down. I've got a list somewhere in some work where I've literally put share, do not share, and for the things that I've said, you know, yes, I'm happy to be vulnerable about. You know, like you said, I'll go into the lows, I'll be, you know, I'll say when the bad and good things happen. But, you know, like we've said, there's parts that you don't have to share. You don't have to share your whole life story, do you?
Exactly.
You don't need to do that. But again, you know, I feel like within confidence on the camera, there's this whole big narrative, and it kind of stems off the whole personal brand thing we talked about finding your voice on social media and standing out, you know, through your content. So what advice would you give someone who feels like they're kind of struggling to stand out in this landscape through their content? Because let's face it, social media gets more and more crowded. It does. That's not to say it's not a place for everybody, but the more crowded it gets, the harder it is to stand out. So like, what bits of like content advice would you give someone who's in that space where they're struggling?
You are your biggest USP. That is always my like, people are going to buy into whatever you're selling, whether that's like a service or a product or anything, because of you. And this is the thing that you like, it is sharing those parts of your life, and it is being vulnerable and showcasing things that go on. Like, the reason that like a lot of these brands do so well is because they literally show them building it from the ground up. There's this brand that I follow on TikTok, and she has documented her whole journey, like from the design process before she was even registered a business.
Is it
Like,
Sydney Lane?
yes, yeah,
She is so good.
exactly. And
So
like,
good.
and she's very like, even though, say, she's just spoke about the fact that she celebrated a six, like her business is now officially 6 figures, she then a couple of days later was like, yeah, but this is 6 figures, but I've also had this really rubbish situation happen. So it is showcasing like the behind the scenes and stuff. And I'll be real, I'm not really bothered about what she sells. I just love her, and I love her story, which eventually does make me want to buy from someone like Amy from Odd Muse. Oh my gosh, I don't even wear dresses. You'll never catch me in a dress, but do I want to buy one because of her? Yeah, because she showcases her personality, and it's just like, I love that vulnerable side of things. So it's going back to setting the boundaries in place, but be vulnerable on socials. Like, there's video, like, embarrassingly, there is videos of me crying on the internet, like if I've had a bad day, like, and stuff like that, and showcasing that side of things, because my whole thing is I want to create a very much a safe space for people, and I want people to know that anxiety is normally, especially within business, oh my gosh, like, people don't realize how like much pressure this is sometimes. So I love it so much, and I would do it all day every day, but sometimes I feel so much pressure, and I do go back to that anxiety state. But I share that, and especially with like everything that I'm doing on YouTube at the moment, like, I'm really like, my thing at the moment is debunking like that business has to look a certain way. Like, some days I am just going to sit in my pajamas all day and watch TV all day because I simply don't want to work. Other days, like today, I'm going to force myself to get out the house at 6 a.m. to go to the gym to make sure I've got routine. So it's showing, like, my biggest piece of advice is going to be show yourself. And even though it's scary to showcase yourself and your true personality, that is when you're going to start finding your dream clients, because they're going to love you and not just this big facade that's been put on. Because if you're lying and like putting on this big front, people are going to see it as soon as they start working with you. So there's honestly no point.
No, and that is so true, isn't it? That, there is no point, because you can only not be yourself for so long.
Yeah, exactly. And it all comes out.
Yeah, exactly. It does all come out. But no, you know what? I'm so with you on the, like, what sounds bad, but working in my comfy pajamas on the sofa, because, like, and I've been in a real like to and fro at the moment of like you said, trying to have days where I'm like forcing myself up, like, to get up, I'm showing up, and putting on a nice outfit, but it's like intrinsically I am someone who works best when I'm comfy. So for me to never show that side of it, like we've just been saying the whole time, and it goes against showing up as who I am at my core. Like, I work best when I'm comfy, so I'm gonna show that against against what loads of people say that you should never show that, but that is me. That is what I do sometimes to work my best.
And this is the thing, isn't it? And it's like, I literally posted a TikTok about this the other day, like how you think a business owner looks like versus how they do. And like the first clips were like me at my content shoot, like really professional, hair done, makeup done, like everything like that. And then the next clips, there was literally one of me like cry laughing. There was one of me drunk dancing in the Slug and Lettuce toilets. There's like one of me just sat eating, like, and really showcasing it. And that got so much interaction, because especially like when you are, especially for what we do, and when we're business owners working with other business owners, like, people want to see that vulnerable side and know, okay, I'm not alone. Because I know that for a while, like, don't get me wrong, I have gone sober recently, so not even necessarily going out anymore, but one thing I noticed, that I was like, okay, I'm this really professional business owner, I can't go out, I can't post on my stories. And for so long I felt like that, and then I was like, actually, hold on a second, I work my ass off. If I want to go and have a couple of drinks on the weekend, I will.
You know what? I was thinking, I had this conversation with one of my best friends who, I go out for drinks with, like, every so often to blow off some steam. And I was talking to her about this, because I'm in such a dilemma, like a mental back and forth in my head, because you know, at the end of the day, I'm 25 years old.
Yeah.
I am a business owner, like you said, I'm professional in that sense,
Yeah.
but I am still a girl in my 20s. And don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not at uni, I don't go wild.
Yeah.
But like, there are times when, like you said, I want to go out for drinks with my friends.
Yeah.
You know, I'm only in my 20s once. Me and my friends
Exactly.
are only going to be this young, you know, this time, and probably this like free, you know, in 10 years
Exactly.
time, we're probably all going to have kids. So it's such a battle, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
generally I was having this conversation and I was like, I feel so weird. Like in the day, yeah, this professional person, then you know, when you go out, like you're a girl in your 20s and that's not, I don't think that is talked about enough
Yeah.
as like business owners in your 20s is trying to balance. Obviously you're the
Yeah.
strong outfit you have your business and being professional and all this lot, but also like you know, living your life because you are still in your 20s.
Exactly. And do you know what? It was so hard for me because when I had my other business, I had a lot of local customers. So when I
Mm,
turned 18 and I did start going out and like even in like places like based in Northampton, but even like Milton
mm,
Keynes and stuff, like I'd go out and like not to like be that girl or like pretend that I'm a celebrity or anything, but like people would be like, oh my god, like you're the like you've got a makeup brand, I've seen you on TikTok live, I've seen you do this and that, and
yeah.
even through like UGC work I've had like done, and people have been like, oh, like you do this for this brand, and it's like, which is amazing. I'm like, oh my god, my work is being recognised. But I remember like in one of the times that I literally went into the toilet and my partner at the time had to come and drag me out and was like, we're going home, like, because I was having a panic attack because I was like, oh my god, these people know me, like they're gonna think that I'm a
Mm,
professional and stuff like that. I just turned 18. Like
yeah.
I was just trying to enjoy my life, and now I think if I see someone on a night out and like they're a client or they know me or like they've seen my business, yeah, cool. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I work hard, I'm making money. If I want to go and spend my money getting absolutely slaughtered on the weekend and getting a kebab afterwards, I will.
Literally, and yeah, it's just, but yeah, it is something that's not talked about. And genuinely, I've had these conversations with my best friend multiple times. Of like, it feels like a balancing scale,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like, yeah, balancing your priorities as a business owner, but then you know, like being a girl in your 20s,
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
living your life, and being with your friends, and
Yeah.
on that, because I feel like you know that's obviously speaking about authenticity.
Yeah.
On that point, take it away from partying, but on the same kind of
Yeah.
level of showing up, how can like specifically, how can business owners show up authentically to get those sales and conversions? Because I know you said at the start, you know, you noticed a big increase in inquiries and
Yeah.
stuff like that when you did show up authentically.
Yeah.
What part of it do you think is the most important to then get those sales and conversions?
I think showing up authentically but in the right way. So like I
Mm,
recently spoke about this on TikTok because I do think that you should share some little personal snippets and stuff on your like business page, but I also think there's things that are meant for a personal page, like, and not even a personal brand page. I mean a privated personal page that is your page for your friends
yeah,
and a page for your business. Like I just said, like I'm all for you like posting, like going out and stuff, but like if you're trying to build a professional brand, the last thing you need to be doing is you taking shots and not being able to walk. Like I'm all for it, do it, but some things don't need to be shared on your business page. So it's
yeah,
number one, I'd say really differentiate them two, because I didn't at the beginning and I was just
mm,
posting whatever on my story. I kind of set like seen my business story as like a private story because of the way that I show up, but
mm,
that's not right. Like this is still a business. I still need to, like, as much as I hate it, I still need to come across professional sometimes, because at the end of the day, people are making like 4, like nearly 5 sometimes figure investments into what I do.
mm,
That's a lot of money. The last thing they need to do is, oh my god, this girl is using the money I've just invested into her to go and get drunk and stuff like that. Like, and I feel
mm,
like it comes across that it contradicts each other, but it doesn't, because you can do it. You just don't need to showcase it. So
yeah,
my biggest piece of advice is number one, know what is okay and not okay to post on your business page, and really define. Like I really defined the offers I wanted to speak about, and then because you could really see it through my content. Like when I was speaking about certain services, like you could see that I look back and now and I'm like, you do not enjoy this service, why are you offering it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So once I really defined it, like, and everyone, I get messages all the time, like, this service is such a you service, like, this is so, like, your personality, like, this is perfect for you, like, with the content day I've just, like, session I've just booked, everyone's like, that is literally perfect for you. And people can see that because I'm passionate about it. So have services you're passionate about and speak about it passionately, and then people are gonna want to come to you because they can see the passion. And the thing is, if you're speaking confidently about something, someone is going to wholeheartedly believe that that is going to work for them. Like me, like when I speak about anything to do with confidence and helping women, like people always message me like, you can see how much you really care about this. If you're speaking about a service you don't care about, people are going to be able to see.
Yeah. No, it is so true. Like, you raised a good point there. I don't think you realise it in the moment, but when you look back at it, you'll 100% see it, won't you? Like, I look back at things like near the start, and I'm like, oh my god, I look so shy, and compared to what I am now. Yeah, but I look, you look at it and you think, oh my god, I look shy, unconfident. And it's difficult because it's like, well, in that moment you probably don't feel it.
Yeah.
But I feel like, that's such a good tip in itself, isn't it? Like what you mentioned, like looking back and being reflective over how you've shown up in the past can probably give you a lot of clues on how to essentially not go up that way, and how to improve how you're showing up on the camera. Do you know what I mean? Like
definitely.
Maybe the like you said, spot the services that you're like, I'm not talking about that in the best way, or I don't know, spot like just little things that you're doing that you can be conscious of next time to emulate whatever whatever it is you're emulating.
No, 100%. And this is the thing, isn't it? Like, if you're, like I always say, like, if you're not feeling 100% confident in something, people are going to be able to read you like a book. Like, and this is the thing, it's like, since I've started speaking more about confidence and teaching that side of things, because that is truly what I'm passionate about. Like I've always said, I don't care what I do in this life, I just want to help people. So people are now seeing that and now being like, oh, okay. And like I said, like I'm getting more inquiries than I ever have before, because I've really narrowed down the services I want to offer, and also how I want to speak about it. And again, going back to that vulnerability side, knowing exactly what I want to share about it, and it just all works and links up so well.
And I think that's like slight tangent, but what I like loved what you said about like really narrowing down how you want to help people, and how like that's what you want to do. And I think like obviously my whole spin is more like purpose, mission, or brand, and like that is at the core of them. And I will always controversially say that those kind of businesses, they will do better on socials, because you can look at them and see that there's more behind them than just like money. And don't get me wrong, money, you need money to live. You're not being delusional here that you can work for free and all of that kind of jazz, but so that always has to be a consideration, but it doesn't always have to be your first consideration. And I think if you can really if you can narrow down what it is you help, and like you said, really like communicate that, that like shines through. Like you said, like I look at your stuff and like I would 100% say that's the impression that I get. Like that's what you care about, that all you want to do is help people with confidence. That's where you can shine, isn't it?
Definitely. And I feel like before I didn't really understand what I wanted to do, and so I don't expect people to figure it out overnight. Like, don't just sit there and think, oh, okay, I want this to be my key offer, because it doesn't come like that. But once I did figure it out, like, and people realised, I think, that I figured it out, they were kind of like, yeah, okay, now it's time to invest in this girl. Like, she knows her energy is good, like, and everything like that. So it worked out really well in the end.
No, I love it. And it takes time, doesn't it? Like, every business takes time. We evolve, we change, like things get better, don't they? But one thing as well that I wanted to like pick your brain at, because we were talking about before, weren't we, about like mindset and social media. And you know what? Before you said that, I'd never ever thought about it that way. Maybe because obviously we're more drawn to social media, but I'd never really thought about mindset in relation to social media. So like, I just love like you to kind of explain what you told me, because I think it's actually really insightful the way that you kind of think about that, and relation to showing up and what mindset you need.
Well, your mindset is so important, like within anything you do. If you own a business, like you need to have, like, I'm not telling you to have like amazing mindset 24/7, but the way you've got to look at things and approach things has got to be positively. Because if you look at a piece of content, or you go to film a piece of content and you're going, this is going to be terrible, I'm going to look at a place, I'm going to stutter, like you're going to subconsciously be thinking about all of that. So you need to get to the place where you're more like, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to film a piece of content, it's going to go amazing, it's going to get me inquiries, like I'm going to be the best version of myself, people are going to love me, and you'll start filming like that. It's like, I always say, but like since I like really fixed my mindset and changed from this might happen to I'm going to absolutely boss this, it's changed everything in my business for me. And especially like the last couple months, like I've gone from I don't want to charge this price to actually people are willing to pay big money to work with me and on my services because they want this transformation. That, like, I'll be real, not a lot of others, like if any other social media managers are teaching confidence in the way that I do, like, so I know that I'm the best. And if you're starting a business, you need to have that mindset of you are the best. Know what, like, have obviously know that there is things you can be taught and everything like that. I'm never oblivious to that. I'm always learning new stuff. But I also know that when I provide a service, it is the best service that my client could get from me. Like whether they're paying like 3 figures a month or 5 figures a month, whatever they want to pay, like is going to be the best service that they can get.
Yeah, no, it's such a good point. Like I said, I think, you know, you recognize that you need that mindset in business, don't you? And you think of it in terms of like business growth and that, but I think what a lot of like business owners miss out on is like they need to take that mindset to their social media as well. It sounds stupid, but I think because like I think in social media, you know, there's that whole thing of like it's the algorithm, you know, blame the algorithm, and I think there's a lot of negative mindset around social media at the moment.
Yeah,
So
there
business
is.
owners, like they build this amazing mindset around every other part of their business, and then they step on social media and they're like,
it's always the last thought. It's always the last thought, and it frustrates me so much because I always say this to my clients. I'm like, you have just sat on a call with me and told me all about your services, told me how like much you love your business and everything. Go and film a piece of content speaking about that and the passion you've done it. And they're like, yeah, but what happens if this? And I'm like, who cares? Who actually cares? Like, nobody cares what you look like. Nobody cares what you sound like. Nobody cares if you're from up north or down south, if you live in a council house. Like, nobody cares as long as they're getting the service that you have promised them. That's all they care about. And I really realised that from someone who came from, like, I was always really, like, anxious and scared, and from someone who's came from, like, literally nothing, like, as in, I think it was 2-bed, like a 2-bed house when my mum first moved out with 3 kids, like, chaotic. We were all, like, under 10, bless her soul. Like, in a council house that was growing mould to now, like, obviously living in I have my own room, like I have my own desk and everything like that. Like it's lovely. Like people don't care. I share that story, like, and people, if anything, like to hear that because it shows how hard I've worked, and it also showcases my story and everything like that. So, and also people have accents all over the world. People are not going to care if you pronounce a word a bit differently. That's what I used to care about because, like, I think because of where I'm from, and I'm now based in East, I think it's classed as Midlands. People say things very posh here. They speak like they're from London. I don't speak like this. I have the Birmingham in me, and it's going to forever be there. Like, if you get in a conversation with me and I'm very passionate, like, you'll start hearing that twang a lot. So, but again, nobody cares. People actually, like, say to me, like, sometimes, like, oh, I actually find it really interesting how you say these words. I'm like, I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but...
No, definitely. And I guess like it's funny you say the accent story because I had like when I went to uni I had the opposite because obviously I'm from down south. I probably very well I'm from down south. Didn't realise that until I went to uni, and I went to uni in Nottingham, and it's either
a difference in accent,
either people from like the Midlands or further up north. There wasn't really many people from like down south that went to Nottingham. So like I rocked up and people were like, oh my god, like your voice, like they didn't take the mick, but you know, the thing is they were shocked. But going back to your point of like no one cares, they were shocked, and then 2 days later they were like, oh, it's just how best
Exactly.
they were literally just like, I mean, it was a bit of a shock, but it's just how you speak. So people get used to it, don't they? But I guess one thing as well that I wanted to like ask you about, because I feel like this whole mindset piece comes in a lot when business owners don't get the results they want on social media. And by results, I mean like they don't get the likes, like they don't get, you know, loads of viral posts or whatever. The metrics don't obviously meet what they expect. And for me, like from my experience, I've seen that's when like business owners' mindset is when it comes to social media. And I guess, have you got any like tips or anything that's helped you, or you know, clients, whatever, from your experience of how do you maintain a positive mindset when you fall into that trap of letting metrics kind of take over how you view social media?
It's really hard. Like I always say to people, like if I wanted to, I could post a video and make you go viral tomorrow, but I don't want to do that. Like it's really, I think, shifting your mindset from, instead of focusing on the numbers and everything all the time, think about what's going to happen. Because like I said, I could post videos and get you like loads of viral videos in a row, but if that's going to get you no conversions, that's going to get no people interested, it's going to hit the complete wrong audience, it's literally a waste of time. Like one of my clients' accounts, actually, like when we first started working together, like it decreased by like I think like 38%, like her reach. And she was like, what is going on, basically? And when I explained to her, like, you really need to start nurturing the new audience because you've got a load of randomers in now, she was like, oh, okay. And now she's hitting like something like, I think she's getting like 22,000 views a week on TikTok. Like for someone with just over 1,000 followers is insane. So she's doing amazing now because she trusted the process and everything. But she was so focused on the numbers for so long, but now she's got such amazing engagement and everything like that. And she's like a couple months later getting orders consistently through TikTok, which a lot of people don't get. Like a lot of people don't get inquiries through TikTok. And I always say this to people as well, like I post a video and I'll get comments from people like, yeah, but you only have like 13 likes. I posted a video and I got 30 likes and I had 4 inquiries from it. Like that is more than 10%. Like that is insane, and people don't realize that. Like because I've nurtured and I know exactly who I'm speaking to, and I do that through my content. Like people who the content's reaching want to work with me straight away. So my biggest piece of advice is, if the metrics are bothering you that bad, you probably don't have your target audience and the messaging and everything done correctly. Because if my metrics are good, like my inquiries might not be as great if they're like going viral and everything like that, but if my, say, metrics and insights and likes are a little bit lower, I actually see more like inquiries. Like it's really weird, and that's because I'm targeting exactly who I want to speak to.
No, it's so true. That's such a big conversation, isn't it, of like virality, because I think as a social media manager, you're either, I mean, there's exceptions, but broadly speaking, from what I've seen, you're on one side of the coin, aren't you? You're either the kind of social media manager that, you know, preaches that virality is everything, and like that side, or like, you know, you're of the like, I'm of a similar opinion as you. Like I don't think it is the end of the world. I think it comes down to your goals, and I think at the end of the day, if you as a business have got the goal of generating meaningful business, whether that's sales inquiries from social media, you need to detach yourself from the numbers, because they don't really, they mean something, but in the nicest way they don't. Because like you said, you know, on paper your video that got 30 likes, someone who's focused on virality would go, you know, that's not a success. But
and
it wasn't
the people I want to work with.
But it was a success to you because you got 4 inquiries. And it's interesting. I think that's such an interesting point, isn't it? Mindset around metrics, because it's such a big conversation at the moment. Such a big conversation.
It is.
You know, in terms of virality and what success looks like on social media. And it's an interesting thing. I think businesses get so bogged down with it, don't they?
Really, I think I trigger a few social media managers when I say this as well, because they're like, I feel like it's like I said, I could post a video tomorrow and make you go viral, like easily. I know how to do this stuff. Like I've been doing it for years. And I used to do this. When I first started, I'd be like, let me make you go viral, this and that. But if it's not serving anything to you, literally, if you're getting technically no ROI, that's it. There we go. I couldn't say it then. What is the point? Like,
Yeah.
you're paying me to make you go viral, and what? Like, if you're getting no sales, then what is the point?
No, literally, yeah, I was having this conversation with someone because, like, you know, like my personal branding stuff on LinkedIn,
Yeah,
I have this like my social media updates post. The last three got like 180,000 impressions.
yeah,
And great for exposure, but being honest, those particular posts did not generate me any inquiries. It's my
yeah,
other content that generates me inquiries. So yeah, it's great for exposure and getting my name out there, but you know, those posts, it only comes back to like what the post is designed to do, doesn't it?
yeah,
Like, you know, making sure that you're aligning the post with your purposes.
yeah, definitely.
That's again a whole bigger conversation, isn't it? But we've been talking a long time, so I won't keep you much longer. I just want to like end every podcast episode with a guess at this question because I think it could be fun. But if you could give one piece of advice to a business owner,
Yeah.
brand about social media, what is it like one golden advice, golden rule that you would tell them to do?
As cliche as it sounds, it's literally just to stop caring. My
Mm,
biggest piece of advice is to start doing things for yourself and posting because you want to and because you know your business is going to be successful. Stop caring about other people's opinions and get out there, because as soon as you do, you're creating more opportunities for yourself.
I love that. So true. So true. Well, thank you so much for coming on the
Thanks for having me.
podcast.
I've really enjoyed it.
Oh my God, it's been so fun. Your insights, yeah, honestly, you're smashing it.
Thank
If
you.
anyone needs any help with content and confidence, go follow Lily. I will drop all of her social
Thank you
tags,
so much.
YouTube and Spotify on the episodes, so you can go give her a follow. And yeah, I will see you in the next episode.